Welcome to 301 Banter, a show having conversations with the finest athletes across Minnesota. We delve into the trials and tribulations of the athletes, coaches, and broadcasters that make the sports world in Minnesota tick. So whether you're a diehard sports fan or just curious to learn about different people, join us for discussions and behind-the-scenes glimpses into Minnesota's vibrant sports community.
Welcome to 301 Banter. On today's episode, we are joined by someone whose career has taken him from the ranks of Minnesota to the ranks of the ECHL. He was a standout at Stillwater, racking up over 100 points in just 3 seasons, and helped the Ponies make it to the state tournament. He then went on to the USHL with the Des Moines Buccaneers, where he improved his games to prepare for the challenges of the Division I level. He would then transition to said Division I level by taking his talents to the Air Force Academy. From Air Force, he transferred to the University of St. Thomas, where he would help them make the transition from Division III to Division I. He is now continuing his hockey career in the pros in the ECHL with the Utah Grizzlies. Luke Manning joins 301 Banter right now. All right, so let's go back to the beginning. Growing up with in Minnesota, obviously that might be the answer right there. But what drew you to the sport of hockey?
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, hockey's just kind of a part of Minnesota culture. So growing up as a kid and in that atmosphere, you really have no choice but to play hockey and at least test the waters with the sport. And I started at a young age with my brothers, and it was just kind of fell in love with it, and obviously have continued it on into teen and adulthood. And yeah, it's just kind of become a passion of mine. Minnesota winters, you always got a place to skate, whether it be at an actual rink or on the pond. We had a good pond next to our house. So yeah, it was always an easy pastime for me and my older and younger brother. So we'd go out on the lake and stay out there till it got dark. And yeah, it was just, you kind of have no choice but to love it growing up in Minnesota.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like a lot of times too with kids that grew up in Minnesota, the winters can get long, and your parents are like, just go outside and find something to do
Right.
in the winter.
And then you find one of your friends who's got a rink built in their outdoor or in their backyard. So I had a couple buddies like that. So it was like you always had little play dates with them where you'd go over and be on the ice for 4 hours and come in for dinner and then go back out. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, always a good tradition on times like New Year's or Christmas too to get outside and play some outdoor puck.
Yeah, for sure. So then you played high school hockey at Stillwater with the Cates brothers.
Right.
You had 3 seasons there and put up 100 plus points. What do you remember most about your time playing for Stillwater?
I had a great core friend group that was kind of in the same boat as me as just loved hockey and kind of wanted to put some effort into kind of trying to make it to the next level, whether that be the Bantam A team or the varsity team or getting to junior and college hockey. I was surrounded by a close knit group of friends who all were on the same page with kind of putting in the work. And going into high school, we had quite a bit of success because of that. We were pretty consistently one of the better teams in the state. So, I mean, just being able to be a part of that team and that culture at Stillwater, we're really kind of building a really good program. And like I said, we had a lot of success. So it made it a ton of fun just to play with your best buddies and play at a high level, even when you're a young kid. Stuff like the state tournament, or whether that's the high school state tournament or just even like Squirt or Bantam state tournament. I mean, it was a lot of hype, just being a part of the Minnesota hockey programs. So there was always something exciting going on, and just being surrounded by the guys that I was growing up, it made for some fun times and some really good games.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that state tournament, especially in high school, getting to play at the X and in later years too, the possibility of being in the hockey hair video and
Right,
um like I feel like that was like growing up in Minnesota, that was your passion. It's like it'd be
right.
cool to make it to the NHL, but I really want to play in the state tournament. Like that's
Oh,
what I
yeah.
want.
No, I've heard guys say that have played in the NHL or even big time Stanley Cup games that like there's nothing really that compares to the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament, because it's just that's all you cared about, like you said, for the first 17 years of your life, and it does really seem like the Stanley Cup when you're trying to make it, and then when you eventually do, and you get on the ice at the XL, and you're looking around and can't believe that you're playing on an ice sheet that NHLers play on, and um, yeah, it is just kind of almost more important to you than the Stanley Cup when you're growing up as a Minnesota kid. So it was, yeah, I got to play in it once, my junior year of high school, and it was just, yeah, it's something you never forget. And we didn't end up making it to the finals, and obviously didn't end up winning it, but just being a part of it and being able to go to the banquet before the tournament actually starts, and just all the hype around your school and kids being able to get off school, it's really something special. I'm very fortunate that I got to be a part of it growing up.
Yeah. Yeah, and um I feel like for the student sections, it's they love it because they get, out of school for a day or half a day or whenever you're playing during the day. So
Right?
um yeah,
Yeah, people think about it.
yeah, yeah, and you guys um went you guys won your first round matchup at least against
Mhm.
Farmington, and
Right.
you were able to score a goal in that victory. What was that experience like scoring at the X while still in high school?
Yeah, so that was actually a little bit of a it's a little bit of an odd memory for me because, like you said, I scored, and then I got hit pretty hard like a period later and got concussed. Um, so I ended up not being able to play the next game because of that. So um, that game was definitely just kind of a whirlwind of emotion because you're in the state tournament for the first time. You score a goal. I was fortunate enough to do that, and then I get smoked, and um, yeah, I don't even remember if I got knocked out or what. But I went
Not
back
too
to the
many memories from after that hit. Just
right. Yeah, thanks for a lot of stuff going on in my head that day or that afternoon. But it was an awesome experience being able to score there and pointing up to the student section, and we had a good group of students come and show up and support us. So it was pretty fun, kind of being able to feel like we said you're in the Stanley Cup basically. Um, so yeah, it was pretty amazing experience.
yeah, and I would say um the X is never louder, including wild games, than when Edina gets scored on.
Oh yeah,
Like if you can score on Edina, that'll be the loudest that building ever ever is. So
everybody cheers against Edina. I mean
yeah,
everybody who's from Minnesota and who's been to the high school state tournament, well, Edina is a part of it. I mean, all the student sections that are there before or after Edina's playing. They're cheering against Edina, and the what is it, like the 206 student section or something
yeah,
up in the top level. They're always
the
rooting against
nosebleed student section. Yeah,
just the hood rat kids who are up there to root against Edina, I guess.
yeah,
uh, yeah,
yeah.
no, you definitely don't want the cake eaters winning the game. And I don't know if they were in it while we were that year that
Yeah,
I stayed or not.
yeah,
Uh,
and I know you guys lost to the eventual champs in
was that?
Zeta. So um,
Yeah, they were a good team. Um,
yeah, I mean they were ended up beating Middlestat and Eden Prairie in the
right.
finals. So when that happens, they are very well-rounded team. So
Yeah, no, I played with a couple buddies who were on that team just after in college and juniors and stuff. So bunch of good guys and good players, and they deserved to win it that year. They were a good team. Wish it could have been us, but win them all.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that was your junior year. Your senior year, Stillwater actually hosted Hockey Day Minnesota.
Yep.
What was that experience like?
No, yeah, it was. I mean, like we were talking about skating outside when you're younger, it's that on steroids. I mean, it was pretty cool backdrop right on the St. Croix River, downtown Stillwater. So I mean, just that alone was was cool. Kind of being able to take a bus into the scenic downtown Stillwater and then have a rink be set up right on the side of the river. They did a great job putting the whole event together. I mean, it was um, yeah, it was just a really cool experience. Being able to play outside, and it was against we were one in the state at the time, or EP was one in the state at the time. Either way, it was 1 and 2 against each other. So I mean, people were probably excited to watch it as is. But then having it be outside and a little snow coming down, and you get all like the turtlenecks and stuff, and you think you're
Yeah.
looking cool, looking cool with that, and probably had eye black on, and yeah, it was a pretty cool experience being able to play outside, but in an actual big time game.
Yeah. Yeah. And post high school, then you made the jump from the MSHSL to the USHL, and that jump can be massive for players. So what was that adjustment like for you?
Yeah, it's definitely tough because you have a bunch of friends in high school who aren't taking the college, or I mean the junior hockey route. Obviously, they're going off to college or whatnot. So you kind of feel like you're on a different track from everybody else, which you are. But you're following your dream and you're doing it with a bunch of guys who are in the same boat as you. But being dropped off at a random billet family's house, and I was staying in the basement at this one family's house, and they awesome family. I mean, grew to be really tight with them, and got close with them over the couple of years that I was in. I was in Des Moines, Iowa at the time. But when you first kind of step into the junior hockey world, you don't really know what to expect, and then when you're living it, it's yeah, it's a little scary because, like I said, everybody else is off taking the next step in their careers or schooling or whatever they're doing, and you're playing hockey and living in some random family's basement. So it's definitely scary, but looking back on it, like it's a blast. I mean, you're playing hockey with your buddies and going on road trips, bus trips, and yeah, good time, but definitely scary at first.
Yeah. Yeah. And Des Moines, like you said, is it's a pretty big. It's obviously the capital of Iowa, so it's very populated, and it's just different than some of these other USHL teams that seem like they're in the middle of nowhere. Um,
Right. Yeah,
and,
I was
and
I was fortunate to be in Des Moines.
yeah,
You towns like Lincoln, Nebraska, or something, or
yeah,
Kenai.
yeah,
Or,
Youngstown, Ohio, and
yeah, right. Yeah, I really like Des Moines.
yeah,
Didn't go out downtown a whole lot. I was 19 or whatnot at the
right,
time. I wasn't a part of that scene, but really cool city, and yeah, a little bit like Minnesota.
yeah, yeah. Now they're also home to some couple of the minor league teams from teams here in Minnesota, the Iowa Wild and Iowa Wolves, and then
Mhm.
the Cubs AAA team too. What's the fan base for the Buccaneers like in Des Moines with the other just sports options of stuff to do
Mhm.
in Des Moines?
Yeah. Um, the Buccaneers fans, Des Moines Buccaneers, the team I played for, the Bucks fans were. We had some super fans. Like they got into it. We had an old school barn with a tin roof, so it just got super loud in there. But um, we filled up or almost filled up like most of our games, and it was a pretty decent sized rink. And we went to some other games, like we went to a couple of the Cubs games and Iowa Wild games, and they would still get fans, but not like we would for our Buccaneers games. I mean, it was just
Yeah,
for whatever reason they loved the Buccaneers, and we ate it up. I mean, being able to play in front of a rowdy crowd, I mean, there was nothing better. And guys hated to actually come into our rink and play in because they would get heckled a bit, and um, So yeah, super fun atmosphere that the Buccaneers kind of created, and I think they're getting a new rink actually sometime soon if they haven't already. So that'll be pretty cool um, for Buccaneers fans when that gets up and going. But yeah, really good fan base down in Des Moines, and was fortunate to play in front of them for a couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah. And how much of a help were the Buccaneers both on the ice and kind of behind the scenes in your transition from the USHL into the NCAA?
Yeah, they were awesome. We had some great staff at the time, and like I said, just the whole junior experience. I mean, it just kind of matures you a little bit, just kind of getting thrown into things, and um, great staff and coaching staff and Buccaneer staff is awesome. But at the same time, you kind of got to figure things out on your own, just like you would if you're going to college. You know, as a freshman, when you're stepping into something that you've never experienced before, where all you've known is living at your parents and going to Stillwater schools, and um, yeah, just the whole experience, all in all, was very maturing and eye opening, and just kind of got me into the real world a little bit, out of the parents' house, and doing my own thing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It can be nice to have that stepping stone too in between that and college. So you go into college knowing, how to cook for yourself, at least somewhat, uh,
Somewhat, yeah.
um,
I wasn't an expert cook after those 2 years, but
but you can live by yourself more than the average,
right.
college freshman. And
Yeah, no, going into college, actually, you did feel a little more mature, a little more prepared to cook for yourself, or just kind of know how to do the ins and outs of not relying on your parents for everything. So that definitely helped being able to do a couple of years in between high school and college. It's kind of a known thing once you get into college that the hockey guys are always older because most of them do 2 or 3 years of juniors. So everybody's kind of on the same page, even when you get to college and you're back a part of a team. Everybody kind of did the same thing as you, or they're going to college for a couple of years, or junior hockey for a couple of years, I should say. So yeah, I'm glad I ended up in Des Moines.
yeah. So then, yeah, you started your collegiate career at the Air Force Academy. What went into that decision?
Yeah, so they were kind of the first college that I talked to. Brought me on a visit to Colorado Springs, and beautiful campus, and great spot into the mountains. It's got a lot of history behind it, so it was pretty cool being introduced to that. And they were just getting a bunch of new facilities too, so they were investing into their hockey locker room, and I liked the idea of going to the Air Force Academy and challenging myself, and um, went there for a couple years and ended up kind of wanting to focus a little more on hockey, so and not go down the military route. So it was a cool experience, and one that I took a lot out of and learned a lot from. Wouldn't change, go back and change it if I could. Just because I'm glad I got those experiences, because the Air Force Academy, it's not like you're going to University of Minnesota. It's a little more strict, to say the least. But it taught me a lot of things, and took a lot out of it. And then once I ended up going to St. Thomas, I just felt like I was really organized and kind of knew what I was supposed to do. And schooling was a little bit easier going from Air Force Academy to St. Thomas. So I had a whole system going with I got to this day, I have like a physical planner that I'm pretty detailed in, and took all that from Air Force, and um, meticulous with some other things like making my bed or folding clothes or whatnot. So a lot of those traits came from the Air Force Academy. But yeah, no, I ended up at St. Thomas, and that ended up being a great spot for me as well.
Yeah, yeah. A couple of years of juniors plus, military academy will help you,
Yeah,
transition into the real world really well. you know. and-
no, it was challenging, but it was worth it.
yeah.
I had some good experiences.
Yeah, for sure. So then like you said, you did transfer to the University of St. Thomas. And when you did, they were still a Division III program. So what went into that decision to go from a Division I program at Air Force and into Division III at St. Thomas?
Yeah, so it's kind of a weird timing. I mean, for everybody, it was while COVID was going on. So I transferred in the middle of the year to St. Thomas, and I was transferring forward. I knew they were going D1 at the time, but I transferred in January, and so I played the D3 season. It was shortened season. It was like less than 10 games. So went there in the spring, and like I said, it was just weird season altogether with college hockey, just because everybody was kind of dealing with COVID. So that was a different experience. And then the following years when we started D1, and I knew that St. Thomas, I mean, they haven't quite became the powerhouse that they will become, but I knew that it was going to be a special program, and thought it was going to be a fun to kick it off and kind of start establishing a culture that they're still continuing to build today. They've got a exciting rink on the way, so and they're entering the NCHC, so it's kind of fun to look back and know that I was kind of a part of kicking all that stuff off, and just a lot of exciting times ahead for St. Thomas. So to be an alumni of the program and kind of see that program keep developing and hopefully be really good in the years to come. Yeah, it's fun to see now just kind of what the program's turning into.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, that program seems to be pretty quickly getting better over the years. They
A rough start, but yeah, it's
start, but then are seem to be taking some good, competing for conference titles and
right.
um and yeah, are now in arguably the second best conference. I think top two conference with the Big Ten and the NCHC, and so yeah, it's definitely getting a lot better. Um,
Yeah,
from
right.
that rough rough first season maybe.
Yeah, no, it'll be fun to see how they progress. I personally think the NCHC is the top the
Yeah,
top conference in the country. But yeah, Big Ten Hockey
but
East.
I don't think anyone can argue that they're not in the top two, is my point. Like it's those two, the Big Ten and the NCHC are, to
Right.
me, are by far the top two conferences in
Yeah.
college hockey.
And then with them getting their new rink, I think it's just gonna. Yeah, I mean St. Thomas, it's gonna be, and that's kind of why I went there too. It's for a Minnesota kid, you're basically going to the University of Minnesota, but um, at an arguably better academic school. So that was a big reason for me kind of wanting to be a part of St. Thomas and going to school in Minnesota, still playing Division I hockey, and now the fact that they're in the NCHC and they have a world class arena, they're going to start competing with the Gophers for top recruits
Yeah,
once they start, take strides in the NCHC. So that'll be really fun to watch.
yeah, and the Gophers can't sell that they're the only Division I school in the Twin Cities anymore too. So St. Thomas, they got to actually put the good product on the ice, and
Yeah, for sure. No, hopefully it'll become a good rivalry. It would be
yeah,
fun to watch if it was kind of like, the
BCBU.
right, yeah. And it comes to a point where like, St. Thomas maybe isn't the underdog
Yeah,
going to a weekend or something. So that'll be fun to see how that goes down in the years to come.
yeah, for sure. And now in that rough first year in Division One, you with your St. Thomas teammates were able to play again at you again at Hockey Day Minnesota, this time in Mankato. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and again, take out the fact that it was the rough first season. How does that Hockey Day experience compare to the high school one in Stillwater?
Yeah, that was probably the weirdest hockey game that I've played in my life because I don't know. For people that don't know, it snowed. Like it was the middle of a snowstorm. Like they were like every whistle, literally, they were having the ice crew come out and shovel, and it was like mounds and mounds like being shoveled off the ice like every whistle. We had to do like 6 TV timeouts during a period because you couldn't move the puck on the ice if you didn't get a shovel in between whistles. Um, we didn't do we didn't do very well in that game. I think it ended up being like 7-0, 7-1 or something like that. But it was just kind of, I mean, everybody was laughing on the bench. I mean, both us and Mankato were just having a good time, playing in hockey day and playing in a snowstorm. It was just kind of like it got to a point in the game where it was like, this is a blast no matter what. Would have liked to score a few goals, but besides the fact that we lost, it was a really cool experience, and wasn't right on the river like it was in Stillwater, but it was still a cool spot, like plenty of fans. Yeah, really cool experience.
Yeah, and St. Thomas seemed to really want to just continue the parallels between your time there and your time at Stillwater, and you were able to play at the XL Energy Center again, this time against the Gophers,
Mm.
um and the game ended up going into overtime, so it was um yeah,
Yeah, that was
the first time you're actually competing with the Gophers fully in that year, and yeah, what are your favorite memories from that
yeah,
game?
that was kind of one of the games where you realize that, like, we can play with these guys, and St. Thomas can be a big time program. Because I think it was like 6-5 was the final score or something like that. Um, and we showed out for that game. I mean, St. Thomas students were probably outnumbered Minnesota students, and they put it on pretty well because it was supposed to be a home game for us. So they kind of, we got the home introduction and had the light show and everything, and it was a packed arena. But kind of like playing in the state tournament all over again, but you're playing for your college team and you're playing against the Gophers. Kind of something that every Minnesota kid, dreams to do, is either play for the Gophers or play against them. Um, so that was a really cool experience. Something that I didn't really expect that I would be walking into when I came to St. Thomas, because it was just altogether kind of a little surreal, playing in the XL Energy Center for one again, and then, like I said, being able to do it against the Gophers. So that was really cool. Probably definitely top 3 collegiate games that I played in my career. So I actually also played in an outdoor game at Air Force Academy too. I've
Oh, really?
played in 3 outdoor games. Yeah, we played on our football field at Air Force Academy against Colorado College. I think it might even snow that day too. So yeah, I've been fortunate with some cool
Yeah,
games that I've gotten to play in.
yeah, yeah, and now you're playing in the professionally in the ECHL in Utah. How have you grown as a player um, since turning pro?
Yeah, so it's quite a different style of play, the pro level compared to college. Where college, it's obviously a super high level of play, but maybe a little less structured than the pro level. Where if you're fast and you can buzz around and you've got good skills, those are a lot of the guys who do well in college. And then when you get to the pro level, you gotta maybe become a little more detail oriented and know where guys are going to be in certain spots, both defensively and offensively. So being able to adjust to that and kind of hone in on the details of the game is kind of the biggest transition that I've noticed from college to pro. And just it gets all that more detail oriented when you get to levels like the NHL. Um, so being able to do or kind of make that transition while also kind of keeping up with your own personal skills is kind of the main thing I've noticed going from St. Thomas to Utah.
Yeah, so in Utah, then how has the fans there been like since Utah even got a professional hockey team when the Coyotes moved to Salt
Hmm.
Lake City?
Yeah, so Utah Grizzly fans, I would say, are pretty comparable to Des Moines Buccaneers fans. Actually, there are some pretty good super fans who love their Grizzly hockey. So that's been a lot of fun to be a part of again. Just fans that really care about winning and show up at games and are loud, and that makes it all the better for a player when you score and people are actually pumped up about it. And yeah, really, really awesome fan base. We have a great arena, great facilities in Utah too. So that's been nice to be able to use, and we fill up our games pretty well with fans and fans that actually want to be there and are there to cheer and hoot and holler. So that's been really fun to be a part of. And then just with Utah hockey in general, the owner of the Utah Mammoth now has been investing into hockey in the community. And so that's kind of showed just with, I went to a couple Utah Mammoth games while I was there. Obviously they're sharing the arena with the basketball team there, so it's a little bit different of a experience going to a basketball arena and watching a hockey game. Just kind of the sight lines are different, as if you're a hockey fan, you know about just kind of that type of deal that they're dealing with there, just having a different multi-purpose arena. But hockey in the community in Salt Lake City, Utah, it's growing, and you can tell. So a lot of excitement around that. And last year, Grizzly hockey, actually, it's kind of a known thing that the team that I'm playing for is going to move to New Jersey, I think, after this next season. Possibly an AHL team would fill their place in Salt Lake City. There's nothing really official on that yet, but so some exciting stuff going around the Salt Lake community in terms of hockey, at least.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like the backdrop with the mountains there too is those custom outdoor arenas you'd make in the NHL video games, and you can put the mountains in the background, and that just seems to be Salt Lake City.
Speaking of outdoor games, I'm sure there will be an NHL outdoor game in the next 5 years, I would think.
Yeah.
It is kind of like Minnesota weather there, where it gets cold in the winters, and I think the next outdoor game isn't it in like Florida or something?
Both, they have the Winter Classic and the Stadium Series. I think are both are at the. I can't remember which one's which, but I think both Florida teams are hosting.
Which I would imagine is a little bit of a logistical nightmare, keeping the ice at a good temperature while you're in Florida.
Yeah, which they had the opposite issue when it was here in Minnesota, was they had to warm up the ice because it was too cold.
Yeah, right. So yeah, that's another thing with Utah, is it would be a great spot, great location for an outdoor game. So we'll see if that's somewhere down in the future for them. But yeah, really really cool area. You're kind of in a bowl of mountains there. So yeah, it's a kind of a vacation destination. So being able to play there is kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure. So then when you look back over the course of your career up to this point, who has been the toughest player that you've gone up against?
Toughest player. It's a good question. Well, maybe I'll just say one of my buddies, Noah Cates. I haven't necessarily played up against him.
Practice.
I did play against him in juniors, actually. He's a great player. He's playing for Philadelphia now, and we're best friends. We're in each other's weddings the past couple of summers, and he's one of those guys that I grew up in Stillwater with. I was fortunate enough to kind of help push me throughout my childhood and kind of being a better hockey player. And yeah, I was able to play against him a little bit in juniors, and would love to play him up against him someday. But yeah, he's just a really talented player and works his butt off. So yeah, I'll give that award to him, I guess.
Yeah, the section final overtime winner to send you guys to the state tournament.
Iconic in Stillwater. Yeah.
I think it's still iconic in just high school hockey across Minnesota. That's one of the most well-known goals
Yeah, rumor has it the guy who he did it on from Hill Murray, guys were doing spinoramas around him in the hallway at school the next week. So I can't imagine he loves that goal or that reputation. But yeah, iconic goal, and that sent us to our only state tournament appearance. So it was crazy experience, and it's goes to show how skilled he is because that did not happen by accident. I mean, he puts the work in, and he can do things like that because of it.
Yeah, for sure. And you look at Stillwater made the state tournament this past year, and it's like how many of the kids that were on that team this past year were in the stands for that
Right.
that goal.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Super cool.
so yeah, so then again, same premise. Looking back over your career up to this point, who do you think has had the biggest impact on it?
On my career.
Yeah, in your career. No, on Noah Cates' career. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. It's tough not to say my immediate family. My older brother, younger brother, and dad and mom. They've just all the way since we were kids playing on the ice outdoors with my brothers and my dad, and having my mom and dad bring me to hockey rinks and practices late at night when you're practicing at 9 p.m. because that's the only ice that your squirt team gets to get. They just really kind of invested in me and supported me all throughout my life, and kind of you know being willing to join me in pursuing my hockey career and dream. And yeah, no, I can't speak to it enough about how awesome they were with kind of helping me develop both as a person and a player, and just kind of being there for me in both the tough times and the good times. So yeah, I've been fortunate to have a very very tight and loving immediate family. So yeah, they've been awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And I think every hockey parent dreads those 9 p.m. practice start times.
Yeah.
Every
Oh,
parent knows them too, and you got the beer league dads walking in after you, and you're like, okay, you know, even as a 12-year-old, you're like, okay, this is a late practice when the beer league guys are coming in. They've got the ice next, and
right. Yeah, no, you're going to bed as soon as you get home, and then up early for school, and probably had a lot more of those than I even realized growing up. So kudos to my parents for being willing to take me to those, and every hockey parent in general. I mean, it's a time commitment growing up, so you really do have to commit to it, and especially if you want to, make it to the next level. It helps when you have people around you that are willing to help you out and push you towards that.
yeah, for sure. So yeah, and growing up with you know any amount of brothers, you grow into a competitive person, especially if you guys are all playing sports growing up. And um, I do have a source that wishes to stay anonymous at this point, but someone told me that you and the wife get into some pretty heated pickleball matches, and that she
All
ends
right.
up winning most of them.
She,
Uh,
she wins most of them. Huh? That's
yeah,
the.
that's what I heard. So I was just I need to know what your response is to that.
Well, I think our latest game, um, or latest series, she did win. So that's still fresh in the air. So that's probably why the rumor is that um, she's better than me. But yeah, we have some pretty heated matches. She's very athletic, so that's fun to be able to kind of go up against her and duke it out. Maybe we'll even go tonight for a round, just so I can get back on top after hearing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll even stick handle against each other sometimes. So she was a hockey player growing up, so she's still got that in her
Yeah,
repertoire.
that was going to be my follow up is if you again if you ever do lose, do you ever want to challenge her to a one-on-one hockey?
No, I don't even know if that would bode well for me. She's pretty good. But yeah, no, she gives me a good run for my money in those pickleball matches.
Yeah. So then, last question here is what advice do you have for kids looking to play past high school?
I would say, just be comfortable. As long as you're putting your head down and working, be comfortable on whatever path you're choosing to take. If you're the last one on the ice shooting pucks or doing a little bag skate and nobody else is joining you, just be comfortable with kind of paving your own way and doing your own thing. As long as you're putting your head down and being dedicated and having a good work ethic. Don't be afraid to be different in that type of stuff. I think about my buddy Noah Cates, who's playing in the NHL right now. He was always kind of pushing other people and off on his own. Like people would see him working hard, and that pushes you to want to do the same. And he just had that in him, where he would go run stairs on his own, or he would take the Saturday night to shoot pucks in the basement or stick handle a little extra. So for younger kids, just not being afraid to do that on your own and put in the time when nobody's really particularly asking you to do it or telling you to do it. And that's how you're going to take the next step in your career and life in general, is if you're kind of putting in those extra hours when nobody's watching or nobody's telling you to do it. So the more you can do that as a young kid and build that into your habits, you're going to be successful and hopefully go somewhere in the hockey world.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So that is all I've got for you today. Thank you for joining us here on 301 Banter.
Yeah, well, appreciate you having me, Chuck. We'll have to do this again sometime. Maybe I'll get one of my buddies or something to do a dual interview.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Big thanks to Luke for taking the time to sit down with us and talk today. We wish him the best this upcoming season and will be watching the rest of his career. Thanks to you for watching this episode. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out a lot. Comment down below who you want to see on the show. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace.